Lelo nsaba tumukkirize tutambule tugendeko eri mu ggwanga lya Democratic Republic of Congo tulabe embeera eriyo. Uganda ne Rwanda ebintu eno ensonga eno bagiyingiddemu nnyo. Buli ekyogerwa bakiteeka ku Rwanda ne Uganda, magye ga Rwanda ne Uganda nti gali Congo ge gali mu kutuusaako bannakongo, enfuga bbi, ettemu, ekiwamba bakazi, ekibba byabugagga bya Congo nga bawagira akabinja kayitibwa M23. Ekiri eno ebintu bikaaye kuba eggye eryavudde e South Africa n'amawanga g'omu South Africa awo agagatira mu SADC kibali mu kukola M23 nkoko baana era mbu balabiddwako abasajja ba M23 abasigaddewo abatono nga badduka beesogga eggwanga lya Uganda ne Rwanda olwa drone eziri mu Bamalawo zibasaanyawo nga nkoko kati basalawo okudduka okwetaasa baddukira mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Nti naye ate bwe batuuka mbu waliwo abalala babawa aba Uganda ne bagamba baddeyo babalwanireko baleme kufiirwa kintu kino. Ebigambo binene mawulire si malungi naye nsaba soyo tugendeyoko tulabe ku mbeera eri eno eryetya era lwaki byogerwa bwe biti. Wuliriza bulungi.
Hello there, so I'm back with an update on the fighting that is taking place in East Congo in the Kivu region. And as you know, the South African Development Community, the SADC, deployed more than 1,000 troops to east of Congo, particularly in Goma, to help the Congolese government fight these rebels called M23 that are backed by Rwanda and Uganda. And they have been winning the battle there. The SADC have been winning. And last week, we saw the bombing of this building where it was a warehouse, where they used to keep mortars, they used to keep guns, they used to keep all manner of military equipment. The same warehouse was adjacent to a building which was their headquarters in the town of Kichanga. And in this building, that's where the top commanders of the M23, alongside close to 50 other M23 soldiers, were bombed and killed or hurt by the drones that are being flown by FRDC with the guidance of these South African Development Community troops from Angola, troops from Malawi, and countries like Tanzania and Botswana. So we saw that, and we saw one of the commander that was killed is a colonel, and he was killed, and apparently he's called the Moneyman. They call him the network because he was the one connecting the M23 rebels to basically finances and funds. He was the one who was able to talk to Paul Kagame and Museveni to give them the finances and these weapons. They also get financing from Tutsi diaspora groups. The FBI, uncovered that. This Tutsi diaspora. Now, what happens because of the fighting that has been taking place between this Tutsi rebel group M23 and the other one in the south called Twirwaneho? They've created some refugees in Uganda and Rwanda and Kenya. And these Tutsi refugees who say that they came from Congo, they get relocated to third countries like Canada, the United States, and Australia, and even Norway. And once they get there, after 5 years of working, they put the dollars together and send it back to this group. So the man was the connecting link between M23 and these Tutsis who live in those countries was killed. And that's why they were almost grieving all over the place. They were not happy, including on social media. Now back to the story. The other remaining leaders, that is the political leader Bertrand Bisimwa, and the other leader of M23, Sultan Makenga, was seen fleeing to Uganda. There are credible information to prove that these two were seen in a convoy of about eight Land Cruiser vehicles, fleeing through the Ugandan border of Bunagana, because they fear that if they continue staying in Congo, the drones are going to find them because of using the satellite phone, because the leaders use satellite phones. And I think these Congolese troops are able to know and pinpoint the location of a satellite phone by the help of the South Africans who have satellites. And once they get this satellite phone location, the next morning they come with drones and bomb them. That's how they got the other two. So these others ran to Uganda because they fear using satellite phones, and they also fear using the normal GSM network. So this is the town of Mweso, where today in the morning there was heavy fighting. I'm trying to show you through this Google map. So the town of Mweso, if you look closely, is some kilometers north of where they were. The bombing was somewhere in Kichanga here. So as you can see, if I use the Google's tools to measure the distance between this is 15 kilometers. So 15 kilometers north of Kichanga is where you find Mweso. So the M23, after that bombing, right, after the bombing and the loss of their leaders, they moved north and captured another town. They left Kichanga. So they left Kichanga, they went to that town north of Kichanga called Mweso. And in Mweso, there is this militia called Wazalendo, the local youth with guns that are there to defend their homes. So they started engaging them. And these rebel, or rather local militia, the Wazalendo, the Patriots, young people, are very lethal and effective because they don't have vehicles, they don't have stores that they keep their ammunition. It's just young guys with guns. So they appear and disappear. They hit and move. They hit and move. As for the M23, they have this stockpile of mortars, stockpile of anti-aircraft guns, stockpile of ammunition, stockpile of, field medicine, and a lot of uniforms that they have gotten from Rwanda and Uganda. So they have to store it somewhere, and they are very exposed because they also use vehicles. They move around in these Land Cruisers, Toyota Land Cruisers. So that's how they're able to be hit, because there was a Wazalendo young guys, they can move on foot in the bush, in the villages, and they hit, then they disappear. And in frustration, now you have to listen to this. In frustration, the M23 have been unable to even hurt or even have an impact on the Wazalendo. So in frustration, they have been firing mortars. Mortars are those things that they fire in the sky and they come down on someone and explode. So they've been firing blindly. They've been firing mortars on people's homesteads. And today, as I'm making this video, yesterday they killed 6 children and 11 adults in their homes at night. As you can see, most homes in Mweso are made of wood because Mweso is closer to a forest, and it is easy to construct a house using wood. So they hit some of these buildings, as you can see in the photos here. As you can see from this photo, most buildings in Mweso are constructed using wood, and they fired these mortars. As you can see, these are the homes in Mweso. For example, this is an old photo of one of the buildings in Mweso. It's made of wood. So they fire the mortars and it comes down on such a building and brings it down. So M23 have committed crimes in Mweso out of frustration because they are not able to fight real soldiers, so they just kill innocent civilians. And that's why we keep saying M23 are terrorists. And it means that if the pressure continues, they are going to kill more people, and after that they are going to go to Bambo, and after Bambo they go to Kiwanja in Ruchuru, or they are on the way to Uganda. They follow this highway. So definitely they are going to go to Bambo here. They have a base in Bambo, and after Bambo they are going to move to Ruchuru. They are going to move to Ruchuru, and then from there, if the Congolese army gets close, they just run back to Uganda. Like rats or like cockroaches. You remember when you go to the kitchen, you turn on the light, the cockroach that were there, they disappear. They go under the cupboard, they go under the fridge, under the freezer. That's how these guys behave, and I think they used to have that nickname some time back. They pretend they fight while running away, because now they are moving towards Uganda, and then after that they are going to Uganda. Then it's going to be peaceful, and after some few years they are going to be unleashed again from Uganda. So the problem that is there in east of Congo is not the M23. It is not this group that Paul Kagame keeps talking about, the FDLR. It is the two countries that are neighboring Congo. That is Uganda and Rwanda. Because if these rebels, after committing crimes in Mweso, after committing crimes in Congo, if they cross the border to Uganda, Uganda has the responsibility. International law has to apply. So Uganda has the responsibility to arrest them and hand them back to Congo because they've committed crimes. But what does Uganda do? It gives them mansions where they keep their families. It gives them new clothes to go and visit their wives and run their businesses in Kampala. The same thing applies to Rwanda. Once they cross to Rwanda, they are promoted in the Rwandan army. They get another rank. If they were major, they go to the next rank of Akano, and so on. So, because these two countries are the ones that are sending these guys into this region to create chaos and pretend that they are rebels. There is nothing like M23 rebels. These are Rwandan and Ugandan soldiers that are there to create chaos and trying to extend their territories into Congo where there are minerals and steal those minerals. And that, I think that is what is happening today.
Ndowooza mubiwulira ebyo biri Congo. M23 bo bakakasa era n'ebinoonyezebwa biraga nti bano abayeekera bawagirwa Uganda n'eggwanga lya Rwanda era nti be bafunamu omugaso kujjayo bya bugagga ebiri e Congo bo babikozese okwegaggawaza nga bakola ebyabwe naye nga tebafa ku bulamu bw'abannansi ba Congo abali mu kufiira obwemage. Akati nno owulidde Egye okuva South Africa lyabataddemu zoganya libazoganya abadduse emisinde bazze bayingidde Uganda naye nno ebiryo si birungi n'akamu. So tulabe akatambi kano nako tubeeko bye twetegereza nga bannansi abawi b'omusolo tulabe ekigenda mu maaso.
Hello there. Let's talk about Congo. Let's talk about the situation in North Kivu, which is the territory in Congo that is experiencing this fighting between Rwandan troops and some Rwandan outfit called M23. They are fighting local people, killing local people, and so far they have displaced close to 1 million residents of Kivu who are living in more than 12 poorly done, makeshift camps around Goma. In Mushaki, we have several camps, and all the way to Kichanga, we have other camps there. People are running away from their farms because of what these soldiers or these Rwandan elements there are doing. So, according to now the story that is coming out of that place, the young people, the sons and daughters of these people who are in the camps, these were mothers and fathers in the camps, their sons and daughters have gotten arms. They've gotten guns to defend their region, to defend their ancestral lands from the invaders, and they are now called Wazalendo. So I've told you about that before. And Wazalendo basically means patriots. It's a Swahili word for patriotism, or the Patriots. So according to the story, coming from the Wazalendo team there, is that Ugandan troops have been disguising themselves, wearing uniforms without Ugandan flag and crossing into Congo in Ruchuru to fight alongside these Rwandan backed M23 fighters in Congo. And the reason why they are doing this is that because the past few weeks, the beginning of this year, the M23 have been suffering massive losses. So initially at the beginning of this year, we saw the drone bombing several warehouses and hospitals or makeshift hospitals where M23 fighters were being treated. And two top leaders, including one of them called Castro, who was the network or the one who was in charge of financing the movement or getting money from Rwanda to finance the operation, was killed in that attack. So Castro was killed, and the other junior colonel to him, and alongside about 20 M23 fighters. They were killed in that drone attack. And then after that, the Congolese was surrendered together with some, this is an official, some Congolese special force and mercenaries from Romania and Bulgaria who are also working there. White people are fighting alongside these guys. I've seen videos which I can't show you here because they are unverified. And these people have been attacking the M23 positions, including getting into M23 trenches, as you can see from these photos here. And M23 are losing soldiers, huge numbers. And because of that, that's why the Ugandans are coming in now to reinforce them. So we have always said that this war in Congo is the war that Rwanda and Uganda are creating there. We have always said that Museveni, who is a Tutsi, he doesn't consider himself a Tutsi, he is a Tutsi. And Paul Kagame, who is also another Tutsi from the same community as Museveni, want to expand the Tutsi empire into Eastern Congo by kicking out the Bantus there. And the Bantus they want to remove from this region, which has a lot of minerals, are the Hunde community, which numbers about 3 million there, are the Frero people, are the Hutu communities there, are the, you understand what I'm saying? Those are Bantu communities. So they want to kick them out so that they can replace that population with these Tutsis from Rwanda and Uganda. And that's what they are doing because they also want the minerals there. They've been stealing those minerals for over 30 years. We know that. So they've been now sending these troops to go there and do that. And the new crashes today in the morning were between now these new Ugandan rebels M23 elements, and there was a random, and they were fighting near Mweso agglomeration, also in a region called Bashari Mokoto in Masisi territory. They were heavy fighting. They also went and they were fighting in Nyampanika in Rugarama health center there. People from Rugarama can confirm that in the comment section below. There was also fighting today in a smaller village called a hill called Kanyati in Bukama area, and close to 20 M23 guys were caught in their trench by the Wazalendo, and they were massacred. And this is about 6 kilometers from Mweso town, or as you go to Mweso, as you go to Ruchuru, before you get to Bambo, there's that part of called Kanyati in Bukama. There was that fighting. And then there was another attack where about 7 to 10 M23 soldiers were killed after an ambush on this hill called Kitwa Hill in Mbuhi. So guys from Congo, you can confirm that there's a region called Mbuhi near Mweso. There's a hill there known as Kitwa, the Kitwa Hill. So as this group was coming up the hill, the Wazalendo were hiding near there. They ambushed them with a machine gun and cut down about 7 of them. So that is what happened, and it means the fighting is going on. But the good news is that the Congolese Wazalendo are winning. That is the good news. And the invaders are going back to Rwanda and Uganda in boxes, in body bags, which is also good news, because that's what should happen. And while all this is going on, while we are getting a lot of soldiers in wheelchair in a country that is supposed to be at peace, because officially Rwanda hasn't had war since 1995, right? Maybe since 1999, according to them. They have never had a war with anyone. But looking at photos like these ones, where we have very young soldiers in wheelchairs, a lot of them with lost limbs. And I'm not saying that these are soldiers who are recently on a peaceful mission somewhere, and in that peaceful mission, the United Nation peacekeeping force was attacked. There's nothing like that. These are soldiers who are in Congo to fight. So as this is going on, you find now the president of Rwanda is just, meeting with his masters, because according to what happened today in the morning is that there was this tweet, and I'm saying this because of the reply a lot of people are commenting. So the tweet is on the Rwandan State House page, and it's about a certain important annual event that takes place in the US. It's called the National Prayer Breakfast in the US. And according to this article by Rwanda, about 3,500 guests were there, and among those guests there were the US cabinet members, there were the US Congress members, there were diplomatic corps, ambassadors based in Washington from friendly countries to the US. There were UN diplomats and other foreign business leaders, important business leaders. And in that meeting, of course, the president of the US was not there. Biden was not there. Those who are important were at the high table. So in this case, you can see some important figure alongside the Rwandan president and the wife, the first lady. And it was an event that is very important. But the reason I'm bringing you this is that if you just Google the situation in Congo, you never miss articles like this one, where you find an article saying Congo, killings, rapes, and Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. And you go there, you find the articles talking about how this group has moved or displaced close to 1 million people, and how this group is supported by Rwanda. Even the EU actually keeps calling on Rwanda to stop supporting these rebels. But with all that hanging on him, he still gets invited at very important meetings that no other president in Africa ever gets there. I'm not saying it's something I should feel envy about. I'm just saying, if you replace Rwanda with, say, a country like Kenya or Burundi, imagine if this article was saying killings, rapes by Burundi-backed rebels, or another article saying the EU calls on Burundi to stop supporting a certain group of rebels. Do you think the Burundi president would then be invited with his wife to come to such an event? No. And this is one of example that actually proves the Rwandan president is either a CIA agent in Africa. He does what they tell him. Recently, I've seen him trying to get close to the military leaders in the 3 or 4 West African countries that recently had coups. He has been trying to be friendly to Mamadi Doumbouya from Guinea Conakry. He has been trying to get close to Assimi Goïta in Mali. He has been trying to actually invite and get close to the young leader in Burkina Faso. I think his name is Ibrahim Traore. So he's trying to get close to them because someone is sending him to do that. And I suspect the CIA is doing that. I don't know. I don't have all the evidence, but that's my suspicion, because no other African president has met these young men, these coup leaders. And in any case, there's nothing Rwanda can offer these countries, really. It's a poor country. It can't offer them any kind of support, any free food, like Russia is sending free wheat to these countries. So there is no trade that can happen between Rwanda and Burkina Faso, or Rwanda and Guinea Conakry. I doubt. Rwanda is a net importer of food. They import most of their food there. So what would they be sending to Guinea? I doubt. Unless they export soldiers, because they are good at that. They can export military expertise there. But other than that, the only reason why he is trying to get close to them is because someone sent him to do that.
Ndowooza tuli wamu mubiwulira bulungi.
Is there? But other than that,
ebiri e Congo
the only
balumiriza bakakasa ne sekakasa nti abantu bano ba M23 mu kuwagirwa General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ko ne Paulo Kagame era nti bano bali mu kubaakingibwa eggwanga United States of America. Ntalo ezigenda mu maaso essaawa eno okubanga America bwegamba Kagame towagira M23 ayina asinkana Kagame nga bali mu masanyu nga balina bye bayisaawo, kitegeeza bano be baliyo okubabbira ebyobugagga ebiri e Congo nga bye babitwalira. Muwooza Rwanda ekulaakulana so ng'eri mu kutta baana ba Congo nga yuweeza ebyobugagga byabwe. Kitalo nnyo, kitalo ddala nti ne Uganda mwebiri abantu bagamba nti General Museveni ne mwali asinseyo abasirikale be era yali mu kuwagira bano. Simajja ggwanga laffe gye linakkira naye tusabirigane Africa etereere. Mbaagala nnyo mwenna abaliko bali kubaako Mukama